All right, guys, in this video, we're going to talk about income. Now, income is really important because this is what helps to determine how much house you qualify to buy. Now, we're going to talk about DTI, which is your debt to income ratio, in the next video, but we want to explain what constitutes or qualifies as income.
And this is a tough one because we can't help you with this.
We
can't give you more income.
Right. So, first off, in order to be considered for buying a house, you have to have 2 years of work history. Now, as Neil talked about in the previous video, it can be more than one job. You could have had 3 jobs over the course of the last 2 years, but you have to have 2 full years of work history.
You could have left a job a year ago or 2 years ago to go out on maternity leave, but then came back. As long as we have 2 years, in other words, you took 6 months off, but I have a year and a half before that and half a year now, that's okay.
Yeah. So it's 2 full years of work history. Now, in order to be considered 2 years of work history, if you're a W-2 employee, you will have W-2s indicating that you worked at some job or corporation.
Or 3 or 4 or 5 jobs.
Right. Or 3 or 4 or 5 jobs. But you will get a W-2 at the end of the year. So right now in 19, we needed 2017 and 2018 W-2s. In a month, we're going to start looking at 2018 and 2019 W-2s because this year's almost over. You can use income from 2 different jobs, but if and only if you've had 2 jobs for 2 years. We talked about this in a previous video as well. You have to have had 2 jobs for the entire duration of 2 years.
Here's the thing. You need to, in other words, you need to show a history that you've always worked 2 jobs. In other words, if you started 8 months ago in your second job, we can't use it. You can use the income for the down payment, but we can't use the assets. In other words, we can't use the income to qualify you.
Yes. So now, let's say this. Let's say you had a different job, and then 8 months ago, you got a new job. But that new job from 8 months ago that you just started, you make more money at that job, we can use that job as your new qualifying income. But as far as the 2 years goes, we can't have 2 years of 2 jobs because you don't have 2 full years of that. But we can use that new job. So it's whatever job's going to show the current highest paying income at the end of the month. 1099, if you work for yourself, and this is one that always comes up as a nightmare for us guys. If you are a 1099 employee, okay, let's just say you just started, you went out on your own, and let's say your first year you're having a banner year, okay? That's great. But if you are a 1099 only employee right now, you have to have 2 full years of filed tax returns with our favorite word, adjusted gross income.
Right. It doesn't matter what you took in. You could have taken $1 million, and then you go to that accountant and you think he's so great, he writes it all off, and you only showed $15,000 for the year. Well, guess what? We can only use that $15,000.
So the adjusted gross income is what we need to look at. If you're a 1099 employee, when you file your tax returns, doesn't matter what all those numbers at the top say, whatever the adjusted gross income is, that is what we are going to use. Now, let's say, for example, last year you made $30,000, and let's say this year you made $60,000. What we do is we add the 2 numbers up and then divide it by 12. So we take
we
the
divide
average.
it into 24.
Oh, 24, that's right. You divide it by 24. So it's the average of the 2 years. That's what we use. So from 30 to 60, the middle will be 45,000.
So it's going to be 45,000 divided into
That's what we use. So we take 45,000 divided by 12. That's how we calculate the monthly number. Okay? So you have to realize how you file your taxes is extremely important. However, let's say you're a 1099 employee, and this month you start a new W-2 job. As long as you filed your taxes for the last 2 years, we can use that income immediately for the new job.
In other words, if you file a 1099, if you were a 1099, you were self-employed and go, you know what, I don't want to do this, and you just got an offer letter and a new job, we can use the offer letter and the new job, that income immediately.
Yeah. So it's a little tricky, guys, and this is one of those situations where it's in your best interest. If you have any one of these unique situations at hand, just give us a call. Don't try to figure it out. Just call us and explain it to us. Sometimes we'll have to write timelines out and say, when did you start this job?
It's also a perfect time to call us before you file your taxes if you're self-employed. We'll show you what you qualify for, based on what you're going to show, and then maybe you'll show a little more to qualify for a bigger house.
Yeah, and guys, realize the more income you show, the more house you can afford to buy. But if you're not showing that income or the adjusted gross income, like Neil said, you make $100,000, but you only pay tax on $15,000. We can only use the $15,000, so it's not going to really help your situation at all. All right. So I hope you found that helpful. Now that we've talked about income, the next video is going to be income minus expenses, which is going to be DTI, or debt to income ratio. We'll see you in the next video.
Thank you.